Well, the lineups are locked. Coach Moody and Coach K-Dot getting their teams. Falcons P. Again, game one, it's Brigida and Gideon.
Thanks, Rain Day. This is an exciting day to be alive. We get to watch some of the best regions play it out here on our third series of the day of MSC. And for starters, we're already getting the classic Selena from the maestro himself, but I don't think Haji is going to fall too far behind.
Yep, the mid lane matchup is something we're all watching out for, but just the same, I am so excited to see Kyle back on a Fanny all over again. He made a name for himself because of these kinds of heroes, and now Vitality will have to deal with this. And again, Trex did point out, most of their crowd control and potential lockdowns are just going to be on Finn.
Yeah, it really is going to be. And I think the important thing right now is whether or not those arrows not only are going to hit, but how you set them up. Because I think that Finn has such a difficult job, right? Not only is he looking for these big engages, he has to play off of the information from Nile and Shogun. But the hard part is catching this Fanny half the time.
Yeah, because like you're torn between catching the Fanny or also going for a backline play, because we see Badangs do that oftentimes, but that's more so when you get to the late game. It's depending on we get there, because I feel like both teams just really want to get that early and end this fast.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about the potential anti-synergy, right? There could be moments where Finn accidentally... Oh, hold on. Flap might be in some trouble here.
Oh no, Finn actually catches Kyle there. Now, that is one answer to the question that we posed earlier. So as long as he just gets to press the buttons in the right time.
But this comes at a cost, right? Because Moreno has to be preemptively already waiting with Finn to make these motions happen, allowing the mid lane to actually get shoved in pretty quickly. Now, I mean, Moreno, he doesn't care about level 4. Level 4 or not, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He hits that arrow, it's kind of game over for whoever. But even Iman recognizes that you gotta be scared of Kyle. You take a bad trade, you could just die out of nowhere.
Yeah, Vitality are so good with these anticipations against Team Falcons and their rotations, and so far they're the ones actually going to take this turtle for themselves. We saw multiple rotations from Falcons already, but every single one of them have been answered so far.
They have been, and I think the best part about it all is the fact that Vitality are playing super responsive to how Falcons are moving across the map. As soon as Kyle showed up bot side, they set up for the instant turtle take. They cannot waste any little bit of time here. They also have to be, you know, just as careful to not put themselves in compromised positions. Top side, you really see that Shogun try to cut the wave. Notices Fanny is around, backs up to try and set up for Nile right here, because he's just too thick.
The moment Nile showed up, Falcons could just not commit anymore. Every single time, it seems like Vitality are just always prepared. They're not in any way taken by surprise by the presence of a Fanny, and it's something that they probably willingly played into, but that's going to be a setup onto Finn. Now they're trying to go for the burst. He gets caught once again, though. Kyle will make it out alive, but does Finn, though? He does not. Flap takes first blood.
He could have lived that. He couldn't live that. He wasn't 100% sure about the timing, about when Dairoth's ult actually finishes the channel. Yes, there's a bit of a channel time. He could have just pushed himself out of there, but wanted, hey, no abilities, I gotta just try and punt somebody backwards as best as he can. This is what we should expect, right? Falcons need to win this early stage of the game to get Kyle that advantage that we're hoping for, and it's not like the Ling. He's very dependent on that purple buff and can only do so much. It's not like you can just go back into your jungle and charge it all back up and you know, farm extra fast. It's all about, hey, I go in, if I don't have that purple buff, I have to recall, do it all over again.
Yeah, it's great adjustment too, I think, because they could not find the sides. They've been trying to, but they couldn't really get the sides. It's always been either Finn intercepting or even Moreno and Nile, so they just settled with Finn, who at the time was isolated from the rest, just trying to check wherever Falcons were trying to go for next, and I think it's a great answer. They finally found a way to at least get a slight advantage, though the gold lead is very insignificant at this point, honestly.
And honestly, a really difficult comp to pull off. I mean, I'm thinking about how Moreno needs to kind of keep up with everybody else, but wait, hold on first. Flap, he's already going to get chunked down to 50%. Now, Falcons, this might be a harder contest. They do have a bit of a regenerate for Flap, so he's going to top himself back up here, but I think the real question is whether or not he gets caught when he tries to shred down that front line, right? Whether it's front line or back line, that shred is only good for Kyle and Super Marco.
Whoa, Finn, are they actually going to go for open? The Wrath of the Tide as a response though, but they catch two, and now Nile is going to go down alongside Finn. Falcons actually take two and will win that trade instead, despite Vitality being the first ones to set it up.
And look at Olgren, he's just blocking the shots. He's making sure that the softer members on his side don't have to worry about some tough angles that are being set up by Moreno. Is this a potential punish? No, he should be able to get out.
Oh, Blazing Duet used too, but even so, Moreno gets to dash away to safety. Shogun will try to block the rest of the members of Falcons, but they're not gonna force it anymore. Still though, it's a 3-0 lead already in their hands. Oh.
Maybe a 3-0 lead with 1.4k, but we're not seeing structural damage. We haven't seen... Oh, speaking of structural damage, Flap, first person there to actually open up. And surprisingly enough, he's the one who actually unlocks his lane first, which is great for him. But what does that mean for the rest of Falcons? Does that mean that he gets to walk around for free? I want to see how they utilize his Dara, because we didn't get to see a great showing the day before.
Yes, I agree. It was on a not-so-okay KDA, I think, if you look at it from the previous performance. But I think this is a much better spot for Flap now. He's clearly winning the lane, already taking that tier 1 up top. And the fact that he was also able to be active in the first few skirmishes and even pick up kills too, I think grants him a much bigger advantage to serve as a threat against Vitality, who at this point have mostly been, yes, responding and answering back to Falcons rotations, but we're not seeing any of their own just yet. Or maybe it's also, in a way, an effect of having very slow clearing mid-duos in the form of a Selena and Badam. Oh, but hold up.
Oh!
Kyle will file 9! And Finn all alone! It's a double!
Oh! I hate the fact that Super Marco, he's laughing about it already, and now they create another attack on the bottom side, and they can't do anything about it.
Eman just had to flicker out of that and use the go away, but Flap now is unstoppable too. With the help of the other members of Falcons, these are just two really heavy damage dealing heroes you're looking at already. It's both Kyle and Flap. And let's just look at that replay and how flawlessly Kyle just flew around these two members of Team Vitality.
Dirty, dirty outplay. Dodges the immobilize, waited the iframes out, even dodging the knockback. And you see that Kyle's just like, nah, just another day in the office. Try harder next time. And Vitality, they will oblige here because they're starting to siege this turtle. They want to make sure they have control, but more importantly, they're waiting for Kyle. They know he's around.
Yep. He's gonna take this first. Abyssal arrows are not connecting just yet, but at least you also see Eman taking part in this fight. Nile will yet to have to reveal himself, because Falcons are taking pretty good control of this. Vitality will change targets though. They're just gonna go for Super Marco, but he still has the Purify! Moreno finally gets the kill, but he might just go down too. That's a 1-for-1 so far, and Falcons are chasing after Finn, but they might not be able to find him anymore.
It's not bad. Honestly, trading gold laner for mid laner, and considering that Moreno, really, he's not the one who wants to be able to absorb all this gold. It's Nile and alongside with Eman, so as long as these two are able to scale back up, it's great, but Finn might be in some trouble here. They don't want to contest this. This is not the position to fight for just yet, and Vitality understand that.
Yep, they kind of let go of this the moment that they went back after that kill towards Super Marco. He already also had to get his purple buff first, so Nile, I feel, is really doing a bit of catching up here in this game. He's already a level behind of Kyle here, and that's also probably one of the reasons why they just rather not contest an objective anymore, especially with Falcons just surrounding the area like that.
With the early game having to be played super defensively for the side of Vitality, it gives you very little opportunities to actually look for potential snowballs. And so far, I mean, Iman, he was doing a good job against Super Marco. Generally, both sides came out of the lane pretty even, but once all the reinforcements started headed down to that bottom side, it was inevitable that Super Marco was going to crack that bottom tier 1. From this point onwards, we're expecting that Falcons, they're going to get a little sly with it. They're starting to walk into enemy territory to steal away the resources, because dear God, Kyle, he's Batman at this point.
I would be afraid if I were Vitality and I was all alone, because I could just feel the presence of Kyle or maybe anyone from Falcons at this point just hunt me down with the amount of damage that they already have. And Vitality, I feel, is going to take a bit more time from them. Even if we say, let's say Eman part of the fights, he just lays down Doll, but other than that, you don't really sense much threat for Falcons, but now they're gonna catch Kyle. That is a kill that they definitely want.
Yep, that was the combo they were trying to pull off and got outplayed on that top side. This is the clean version of it, but they still don't get the conversion, unfortunately, on that turret, but they do slow down Kyle. Luckily, you don't have to worry about the purple buff. It hasn't even spawned just yet, so Kyle doesn't lose too much in general.
Yeah, but it's just gonna open up more opportunities for Vitality. You could see how they're trying to push their sides a bit more this time, but a concealed play from Falcons might just turn things around. They're trying to go for the kills! Look at how Haji's sets that up beautifully, but the Wrath of Dryas doesn't allow Nile to escape, and they find one all over again. Abyssal Arrow onto Owen, though. Do they have enough burst damage to finish him off? They don't have it just yet.
No, they don't. Wow, that was an incredibly big mistake coming out from Now, showing and in front of their faces, dashing. You can't reveal those cooldowns this early on. Only later in the game where it's not so bad, especially since Falcons are really out to get it.
Oh, Emman actually dealing a bit more damage now, but it's Falcons starting up this objective. They're bursting it down as much as they can. Abyssal Arrow does not land. Who gets the final hit on this objective? It's still gonna be Kyle, but Flap might get traded out here. Surprisingly, still survived. The Abyss of Strike cancelled out. Close call for Emman, but now he has to flicker out to re-engage or to regroup with Team Falcons. As Vitality might go for the chase, but they don't.
They didn't get the punish. They got the big cancels that they were looking for, but no conversions on either side. Even still, we know for a fact, hey, Falcons, Turtles, they're done for. Now we got to make sure that we can protect, because once we have to deal with this Iman,
Flap, so much damage, but he will go down relatively fast too. That's a less tankier XP lane that he currently is on, and I feel like Vitality will just constantly go for the punish every single time, every single opportunity they find.
Oh, I mean, they have to at this point, right? Can't give any options to their opponents. Super Marco now sure looking for anything across the map, and even for Kyle, he's just waiting, right? It's about a matter of information. Now should be okay here.
Another 1v1, but now you see Finn, Kyle will not fight him there anymore, as Vitality will still deal with the Lord for now and are forced to play defensive. They're about to lose more and more of their structures as well if they don't successfully get to defend this, but it's barely hanging on.
Honestly, this is great coming in for Vitality. Like, everything that could have gone wrong in the early stages of the game didn't necessarily hurt as bad. They walk away with some scrapes, okay. And Nile has still very, very bold. He hasn't backed down at all. And with the Malefic Roar on his side now, he can start thinking about hitting some of the bigger targets.
Yeah, we're waiting if Vitality could pull off the combo all over again. So I think a lot of this is on Finn, and whether or not he actually finds that setup all over again, because you could already expect the damage to come through, especially from Nile, especially from Moreno, and even Eman, but Falcons are just too difficult to catch.
Yeah.
They have so much mobility.
Zipper, if you could pull up the items for me, that'd be great, because I'm wondering where Shogun is in his item progression. He needs to get to a point where he's so tanky that he's able to kind of take first position on the far lane rather than letting Kyle hard shove it every single time, because Vitality have to be relatively close to each other to find these intersecting points in the mid lane in comparison to like Sin and Hirara topside. And now that at least that Nile and Kyle are somewhat even in the lane, it's a much harder 1v1 to win out.
Yeah, we gotta check those items later on. But even if Vitality do group up, okay, there you go. He does have the Antikyras and the Radiant Armor already.
But no Oracle. So again, if 1v2, there's a good chance he still dies out here. Lightning Truncheon already purchased, so he deals with both arm. Oh, wait, hold on. This could be bad unless Owen wants to flicker in. I don't see this happening. Put that back here.
Oh, Kyle from the side though. That was close. Vitality really had to reposition themselves there, as Falcons just took the opportunity to get mid.
That was so beautiful. That was so beautiful. To the naked eye, it feels like nothing happened, but it was really Falcon positioning themselves and posturing, forcing the battle lines of Vitality. They don't want to expose their backs. They want the traditional front to back, but Kyle has so much of that pull. If Iman dies, this entire fight goes down the drain.
Yep. And now they take that mid turret just as the Lord spawns. So imagine the space that they could really play around with. Vitality feels very uncomfortable with just freely positioning themselves. They have no idea Haji's in this position either. And you mentioned something about Vitality grouping up and using it to an advantage, but they have to be careful of Haji. Haji's been stealing away that ultimate from the Badang, and that could be something to punish Vitality later on.
Wow, both of these guys, it's whoever shows up in the lane first, and Hirara shows, and guess what Falcons is going to do? Instantly take that space. As Vitality are forced to move backwards. They know for a fact they got to clean up these lanes, but Nile, he's not wasting any time. He sets up the slow push and now is running back to try and collapse upon this.
Oh, Emma tries to go for the poke, and with the go away, they don't actually find the kill. Now it's going to be a clap back from Finn. It's a shutdown onto Haji. Super Marco finds Shogun. Doan will surprisingly pick up a double, but Eman is still alive. Do they still have hope? Abyssal Arrow will land onto Owen, and they find another trade.
That's exactly what you want to see. It's all about Iman here. Wait, no.
Oh, Flap, they have to avoid Flap. But Finn, the disruption. It could have been enough, but Kyle was just too quick to act. for the chase on Super Marco. 1v1 with the Nature! And Finn finishes him off!
Yo, that was so sick. What timing on the Maestro must have. That's why he's the conductor. He doesn't miss a beat. What a well-timed arrow mid-air. And even Finn, he was looking at it. Look at this one more time, right? This big old fight happens. Everybody's going crazy with it. Ogwin, really the game changer with the Wrath of the Dryads. But later on into this fight, that intersection. Wait for it. Where's the arrow? He hits it, and then it all goes down.
And this 1-1-1 too.
So good. That was so crazy. Finn should be happy with that. Finn should be happy that redeems him for the early mistakes, but now it really just comes down to execution, and that's the truth of it, right? Falcons and Vitality both have a really good understanding of how both compositions need to kind of dance around each other. But that dancing gives more advantages to Falcon for the raw firepower, Vitality.
Oh, they find another arrow. It's going to be Flab. He's not as tanky, but Shogun's actually the one who falls out first. But with the Wrath of Dryad and another setup from Finn! The iframes from Nile keep him safe too. It's only Vitality finding a 1-for-1.
Holy cow, this is only game number 1, and we are seeing that they are fighting tooth and nail. Ogwin should go down here.
He could not get away from that. But that's the response from Super Mario. But to go away will just shove him out. They couldn't go for the committed Haji. Nearly falling. Still has the ultimate from the Badang. But Vitality are going to play it safe.
They gotta breathe. They gotta breathe for just a moment. Kyle, he can still deal with these waves on the sides. It's just that main Lord force that they can't really deal with it. Super Marco will try his absolute best, but they're saying, you know what? We can't hold on to this. Let's give up this inhibitor. Yes, the long lane is not going to be in our favor, but we got Kyle to deal with that consistently.
Was that a chastise picked up by Kyle here? It's like he was forced to almost adjust his items just because of how good Emma's been positioning himself on the Melissa as well. Every single time he uses the go away, it's just so perfectly timed.
It's ridiculous, and I think this is super understandable, right? Why multiple people need to get the Chastise Pauldron. With the extended range, thanks to Muddles, sometimes you're not in that range to actually get the slow to the attack speed reduction. At this point, you got to be able to hit the right targets at the right time, and as much as everybody needs to slow it down, it does eventually come to start biting you in the butt. I think that Iman has been playing perfectly so far, but I think this Chastise Pauldron from Kyle, he needs it just to go in, force to get away from Iman, heal back up, and return to the fight.
Yep, and that's something they can do. It's a Fanny, so you could just expect them to get into the fight fast. With Vitality, they've been holding this out really, really well. Finn gets to spot out a couple members from Falcons all over again. They're fighting for this purple buff. They don't want to hand it over to Kyle. But Open, will he be the sacrifice? Another arrow from Moreno! He actually forces the Purify from Super Marco!
God, what are these angles? The Maestro finds it once more, building up to this big piece, but Falcons aren't completely out of this just yet. Man, what a turnaround. With such a good early game from the Falcons, Vitality have been playing some incredible defense, and now seeing them on the attack, it's a pretty difficult game for either side. A single mistake could predetermine who wins and who loses. We're already 18 minutes into this game. Ooh. The next Lord has spawned. Keep in mind, this Lord is vital. It's going to be walking around with some extra damage reduction.
Open goes for the concealed play because they spot Nile up top, but they're not able to get anything out of it. Nile's just going to really get away and now transition to the Lord. They might just go burst this down.
Yep, they're definitely going to burst this down. Let's see if the steal can happen. Here comes Kyle. He's thinking about it.
Okay, the go away is still available, but it's Nile who secures the retribution. Falcons want to go for the chase. The go away already forced out, but another arrow landing on Kyle. Do they have what it takes?
You're joking.
They find the kill on Kyle, and another setup from Finn. Together with the damage from Emma, with the clap back with the blazing dude from Super Marco. They actually get to trade out some kills. Emma's still being alive, though. It's not looking good for Falcons.
They're trying to go even further than this. Is Ogwin. He's eating the damage, finally. But look at that top side. Iman is running straight for the base.
Super Marco's the only one left here, but he couldn't do anything about it. Alongside the Lord in a triple from Nile. Team Vitality take game number 1.
Nobody's sad after that match. Nobody is going to leave their